fire engine, which is a wildland fire engine, to be placed at Station 81. And the intent there is we now will have this next fire season a wildland fire engine at each of the town fire stations that can be cross-staffed during red flag warnings or high fire danger or wildland fires, so that we can access all the streets and small private roads and throughout the town. So we're really excited about that. Next slide, please. This slide here to share with you folks and remind you that being part of the CAL FIRE contract, you're in the shared resources concept throughout the county. And what that means for you as the Town of Paradise is if it's not a Town of Paradise fire engine here, you may see a CAL FIRE engine parked in one of those stations, or you may see a Butte County fire engine parked in one of those stations. So you may see your engines out on some of the fires that we have throughout the county, but that doesn't mean that we're not backfilling and protecting your community here in the Town of Paradise. Next slide, please. All right, defensible space. Hot topic. Now that we're on to trees, it's settled down a little bit. But I'm very proud to report that as of September 1st, we had 11,485 inspections done. That's every parcel in the Town of Paradise. That's never happened before. So those extra firefighters that we had were able to help go out and get those done. And so we've set the tone, kind of the expectations on the town for defensible space, and we hope to carry those in the years to come. There was a number of non-compliant inspections during that initial push. I don't have the numbers because they've been turned over to code enforcement and they're dealing with it, but I can tell you just driving around the town, things are really looking a lot better than they did 3 months ago. So hats off to you folks for taking this on. It's your community, and you are making a huge dent in protecting future wildfire growth in the town. Burn permits. I even brought one with me. So I know we're heading into burn season. We're not there yet. We got a little bit of precipitation coming in, but it's not going to be enough for us to look at lifting the burn suspension and moving into burn season. We have no intentions of delaying that when it's appropriate, but we want to do it at a safe time. We have every intent of doing it at the same time as the rest of the county, so it'll be unilaterally as it was last year. We also intend on allowing burning from the time we open it through the May 31st as we identified last year, and there will not be an east or west zone. It'll be for the entire town. So in a nutshell, it'll reflect what it was this last winter. Next slide, please. Oh. Okay, ready, set, go. Just want to remind everybody we're not out of fire season. When I spoke to you at the first town meeting in June, I told you that this season was going to be not reminiscent of 2019, more of like it was in 2018. And unfortunately, we did have that sort of repeat, not affecting as much of the town directly as it did in Butte County, but in the south part of the county, it really took a hit. And those folks are feeling a lot of what you went through 2 years ago. So hearts are with them tonight, and just thinking about them. Also know that our EVAC plans were updated and they were mailed out to folks. If they didn't get one, they're available at Town Hall, they're available at the BRIC, the Police Department, Fire Department, if you need one, or you can go onto the Butte County net OEM /OEM and download it from there. So please have those on hand and review it. They're very helpful. Thank you guys. Have a good evening.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Colette Curtis. I'm the assistant to the town manager for the Town of Paradise. And I am so happy to be with you here tonight. I echo the sentiments of Chief Scholand. It's so nice to see people here in the audience. Makes it much easier for us presenting. So tonight, I am really pleased to talk a little bit about the businesses that we have here in Paradise. After the campfire, one of the objectives for Town Council was, of course, to bring our residents back home. And another objective is to bring our businesses back and get those open and strong so they can serve our residents as they come home. And so I'm very happy to report that through the obstacles and barriers of the campfire and COVID pandemic, we have many, many businesses that are reopening in the Town of Paradise. This slide lists some of them that you may have seen opening around town. Of course, we have a beautiful picture of Joy Lynn's, which just opened on October 1st. We're so happy to have them back. What an amazing story that they went through. And of course, you probably noticed Tractor Supply opened very recently at the end of October. Very exciting. And I think that is a wonderful sign that we can look to of outside investment that is coming in. There are businesses that are very interested in coming into Paradise, being part of our community and serving our residents. That just goes to show, again, we're still here. We're a very viable community for any business to open. And there are so many businesses that are in that category. Tractor Supply, of course, joins Ace Hardware and Foothill Lumber that have been longtime members of the Paradise community. And we are so happy to have all of these businesses and the many, many more that are here. I know we have Monica from the Chamber of Commerce who will speak more about our business community, but we are just so pleased to have these businesses here with us. I also wanted to just touch on that the town takes very seriously economic development, and we are looking at a strategy to support the businesses that we currently have, as well as recruit and retain additional businesses to come into town to support our residents as they come home. Next slide. And then, as I mentioned, one of Council's main objectives is to bring our residents back home. A big part of that is to have affordable housing and to make rebuilding more affordable for our residents. And so there are many programs that can help do that, and the town offers one such program that I wanted to touch on tonight, and that is the town-administered owner-occupied rehabilitation program. That's a very complicated way of saying the town has $25 million from the federal government to help our residents rebuild. We need to spend that money within 3 years. We estimate that that $25 million can help about 150 households rebuild. That assistance comes in the form of a deferred loan of up to $150,000. A deferred loan means there are no payments for quite a bit of that loan, and in fact, in this program, the interest is actually forgiven after a certain period of time. There are income eligibility requirements and other property eligibility requirements, but I would encourage anyone who has a financial gap to rebuilding, or even if you haven't thought of rebuilding because it is difficult to afford, this is a great place to start. You can sit down with our housing department and go over this program and see if this will help make rebuilding a reality for you. You can meet with our housing department at Town Hall in person. You can call them at Town Hall, the phone number is on the screen, or you can email them at housing@townofparadise.com. And so next, we're supposed to have a video talking about another housing program that will help make rebuilding more affordable. This is from Maziar Movasagi from the California Department of Housing and Community Development. So hopefully this video will work, and if not, I will have a few words to say. Thank you.
I'm back. I'm just stepping here because it was a little hard to understand and some of the slides were a little off. Just to let you know, we will post it so it is easier to see online. So what I'll do is just kind of give you an overview and then you can kind of look at it online and get the details behind it. So what Maziar was talking about was that it's called CDBGR DR funds, and these funds are set aside through the FEMA process once you have a disaster. So they look at the disaster, they look at all that FEMA has done, and then what they look at is, it's called the unmet needs. And then when they look at those unmet needs, they categorize them into different categories. And one of them is residential construction. And so what Maziar was talking about was the residential construction portion of that unmet need. So there's over $200 million that has been set aside for this disaster and for all of the disasters around the state for 2018. So that includes Shasta County, Butte County, LA County, Ventura County. I think there's another county out there too. But what this can do is, under the income qualifications, it gives an opportunity to an individual to get a grant, a 100% grant, to rebuild their home up to $200,000. So it's very, very substantial amount of money that can be given to individuals that need these funds. These funds have not been issued yet. They were talking about grant agreements and that. Basically, they haven't got to the point where the funds have been dropped down from the Fed to the state. The state is going to be the one that administers them, but they're going to have case managers up here, or hopefully up here. We're hoping to get them up here based on COVID, to help individuals sign up for these funds. There's actually an opportunity even for an individual to have a construction manager to say, I don't even know where to start. This individual will help them, work them through the process to get these funds not only dropped down to them, but a house rebuilt for them. And so what we're hoping is by the beginning of the first quarter of 2021, these funds will be available. So more to come on that. We were going to continue to update the community on that. Please go to the website to get more detailed information on that. But that's what that video was really trying to convey. So thank you.
Good evening. I'm Tim Williams with Adventist Health. Thank you for having me here to share some updates about what we're doing to help refocus building our healthcare services here on the Ridge. Go ahead and start my slides there. So for those of you that don't know, our Feather River Health Center here, Lower Skyway, was the first business to reopen about 6 weeks after the Camp Fire. And many of you who have been longtime residents of Paradise or the Ridge community know Feather River Hospital very well. Many of you may have been born there or have kids or grandkids that were born there too. And so for us, it's something that we never stopped serving the community of Paradise or Magalia after the Camp Fire. We just didn't do it here. We did it in Chico for a period of time. And so for us to come back and reopen those services, especially to have that building there, has been a blessing for us, hopefully a blessing for our community as well. So as we look at where do we grow and how do we serve, we have continued to meet the needs in the community. And so we're excited that we've been able to offer additional services. Most recently, we have orthopedic services back in Paradise on the Ridge, and excited to have that service available for our community. In addition, in January, we're going to be bringing in an additional 4 primary care providers, a mix of nurse practitioners, physician assistants, and a physician as well, who will again be available to serve our community here on the Ridge. We're also excited to announce, as we continue to focus on community integration, how do we work to prevent disease and also work towards integrating health and wholeness in our community. We're going to be opening a Live Well Institute in our Paradise campus here, and focused really on not only, again, disease state management, but also working with our community. How do we help people to have a sense of health and wholeness? And so you're going to be hearing and seeing a lot more about that here coming in January as we launch that service and open up more of that to the community. Many of you have driven by or maybe even have frequented. I'm a frequent flyer of our immediate care, rapid care clinic here in Paradise. Proud to tell you that we've expanded our hours again. This has been something that we've continued to meet the need of our community, especially as we have more residents and houses that are coming back and more needs in the community. So right now we're actually available Monday through Friday for 12 hours from 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. in addition to our weekend hours that we started back in March, with holidays as well from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And now that we're entering cold and flu season, we're seeing a lot more people come in with those types of symptoms, so we're able to meet those needs with no appointment required. Talking about the PSPS events and the power issues that we've had here, I think we're all a little bit weary of that. One of the things I want to rest assured and communicate to you this evening is that since actually last year, with all of the PSPS events that we had, we wanted to ensure that energy was something that we weren't dependent upon from PG&E, from the grid. So we have had backup generators on site for the last roughly 2 years. And so it's something that, again, for the community to understand and know that even in the event of power disruption from the grid power, we're finalizing our energy independence project with not only solar, but also backup battery power, in addition to secondary backup with generator service. So this is, again, another, I think, comfort for you and for our community to know that even in the midst of uncertainty with power, that you know that you have healthcare access and services here on the Ridge. The last one for some of the updates is kind of the multi-million-dollar question, and that's what's happening with the Feather River Hospital campus. Actually had an opportunity to tour both with Steve Crowder, and Kevin, you were there as well several weeks ago. We had undertaken an engineering feasibility study that was slated to start in April, which was perfect timing with everything else happening in the world, and that was delayed. That study was taken back up, and we're expecting those results here in November, really to look at what's the feasibility of that campus. And when we had the tour, I think it was eye-opening for some who haven't been on that campus, because when you drive down Pence Road, it looks like the hospital is there ready to open the doors and turn on the lights, and it looks like something more. I think somebody suggested a Halloween haunted house would be a better version of how to use that space, because when you step past those doors, really that space is stripped down all the way to the studs. And even for those of us that have been in those halls quite a bit, it's very difficult to navigate because there's no sense of direction in that space. So what we have to do first and foremost is restore the infrastructure, not only to the building. We're talking power, chillers, boilers, just the basic core requirements of operating a healthcare facility, not only to meet the code requirements. So there's a lot of work that has to happen on that end. In addition, we're working to determine what is the best use for that space. Is it simply a freestanding emergency department? Do we put some small footprint of acute care beds here? So there's the business of So those are some of the dynamics that we're currently working through. Again, working with an economist to look at the projections and the population and what makes sense for us. Again, our commitment to Paradise and to the Ridge community has to provide the services before the community needs the services, and that's where we've done a lot of work over the last 2 years, specifically on the outpatient side, which is where we've been living without Feather River Hospital. But again, the commitment from Adventist Health is to continue to provide the services to the community, working with some of our partners as well. Next slide. Of course, we're living in a day and age, as I see many masks here, with COVID and the crisis and the pandemic that we all live with. And so we've really been focused on how do we continue to meet patient needs in the community in spite of the challenges that we have with COVID. We continue to offer in-person clinic visits at all of our locations with appropriate screening, but we've also done a lot with video visits and telephone visits for those patients who aren't able to come, who may be high risk, maybe have maybe a little bit of fear about coming in or getting out and about. And so we want to make sure that we can continue to provide care for those patients as well. We also have our pharmacy drive-through and our retail open as well. So again, other opportunities for people who may have issues with mobility, who may have issues with other health concerns that they can't physically come into a space, that they don't have to get out of their car. And I'm really proud to announce that here in November, in partnership with North Valley Community Foundation, Feather River Health Foundation, we will have the first and only analyzers in all of Butte County to do rapid care testing in an outpatient setting. What does that mean? You've probably heard stories, maybe you or a family member or friend has gone to one of the testing sites and you've had a swab done for COVID, and it typically takes about 5 to 7 days. We have devices that are currently on site that we're finalizing the calibration and the validation of those machines that can actually have a test in about 10 minutes. So what does that mean for you? It means that if you have symptoms, if you have issues, our rapid care clinic can see you. If it's a needed test that the physician says, we're going to go ahead and run that, it means you don't have to shelter in place, you don't have to quarantine, you'll have those results back before you leave the provider's office. So that's a huge thing for individuals who may have challenges with multiple people at home, obviously the dynamics with school and kids at home. So a big thank you to North Valley Community Foundation, the Feather River Health Foundation, and making that possible. That's a great thing for our community. You're going to hear more about that here in November too, as we go ahead and launch that service. That's all I have this evening. Thank you for the opportunity, and look forward to serving you and any questions that may come. David. Thank you.
See if I can do this without toppling something. No. Okay. I'd like to talk a little bit about the role that philanthropy plays after a tragedy or disaster. The North Valley Community Foundation has always had a history of setting up charitable funds after an event. We did it long before the Campfire with events like the spillway evacuation, a shooting in Rancho Tehama, any number of fires in Butte County over the years where people want to give, they don't know who to give to. We open a fund, they give to our fund. We get it to the people on the ground who are doing the hard work of dealing with survivors and relief and recovery. So it could look like early on in a disaster like the Bear Fire, issuing grants of $5,000 to $10,000 to every shelter that's open in the county so that people have food and blankets or just a place to sleep. And that was really important. And we continue to do that for fires. Campfire, of course, was an entirely different animal. We received donations, roughly 40,000 different donations from all over the world, really, but all over the country, especially people. Paradise was on people's minds. Early on, we opened up the Butte Strong Fund, and the Butte Strong Fund was a partnership between two very dear friends of the foundation. One is Sierra Nevada Brewing Company, which had, I think, the brilliant idea to brew beer and sell beer across the country, and all the money would go into their fire relief fund. And then Aaron Rodgers, the Butte College, Pleasant Valley High, Green Bay Packers quarterback, who gave $1 million, talked one of his main sponsors, State Farm, into giving $1 million, and then Packer fans all over the country contributed to his fund, which was held at the Community Foundation. So those three groups, our Campfire Relief Fund, Sierra Nevada's Resilience Fund, and Aaron Rodgers Fund, got together and pooled their money to become the Butte Strong Fund. This up on the screen is what the Butte Strong Fund has done in 2 years, and even that slide's a little bit outdated. We added $875,000 last month to the Rebuild Paradise Foundation for a program to reduce the price for people who need to repair or replace their septic systems. So this number of more than $35 million is actually more than $36 million now. The breakdown is now housing, $7.6 million, health and wellness, $6 million, direct assistance to survivors, $14.3 million, community development projects, $2.9 million, education, $4 million, and economic recovery, $1.3 million. In all, we have vetted and approved more than 600 grants in those 2 years. Those grants go to nonprofits and governmental organizations that are working directly with survivors. And this is really important to note. We are not a relief agency. We are an organization that connects the good-hearted donors with the people on the ground, like many people in this room who are doing the work of working with the survivors, like case managers, like other foundations, like town government and PRPD and everybody else who's doing that work. We are the conduit to get the money to people who have good ideas and help them bring those ideas to fruition. Our focus is always filling holes. As you know, with a disaster that is anywhere between 15 and $20 billion to this area, all the donations in the world aren't going to help rebuild that entirely as it was. So we step in to try to help where first we look to see if there's any government funding available, particularly FEMA aid. We look to see if there's insurance money that can help rebuild things. And then we look and see if there is, PG&E settlement money, so lawsuit money. And when none of that is apparent and none of that is forthcoming, then that's where we step in to help. So we see things like, just highlight a few of those 600 grants. One big one, a project that we've worked on with a lot of different funders and organizations nationwide, is a manufactured home replacement project where 47 individuals or families have been getting free manufactured home placed on their property to replace a home that was lost. You see things like contributions to community development projects like the rebuilding of the Gold Nugget Museum or the Honey Run Covered Bridge. You see things like grants to hire case managers because the government didn't send nearly enough case managers to deal with the many survivors who needed help. So we stepped up to hire somewhere in the neighborhood, I think the number is 57 case managers, so that they could help the hundreds of people who need help to navigate the system. And we also gave grants to give those case managers resources, that is money, so that they could help people navigate their personal path towards recovery. So we hire the case managers and we give them the money so they can give to the people. And that's how we operate. One of my favorite grants is the town of Paradise came to us and said, we need money to do a road survey. Before all the disaster relief work starts and the trucks ruin our town roads, we want to do a survey of what the roads were like before all this work so we can get reimbursed. The survey cost only $24,500. That survey helped leverage $77.3 million in federal funding. So great idea by the town and money really well spent that they didn't have at the time. So it was an easy choice for us to do that. And it's been so rewarding. I see everybody we talked with up here has been a partner. Everybody who's coming up tonight to speak has been a partner in recovery, and we've made so many great long-lasting friendships. And we're not done. We're just getting started. Like I said, 600 grants, but we expect to be giving grants for another 2 to 3 years. We have an additional $15 million as of right now to spend, in addition to the $36 million that's already been spent. It's a real balancing act on spending the Butte Strong Fund money. Of course, you want to help immediately with the relief and recovery efforts, but you also want to look at long-term recovery. And we knew all along that it wouldn't be a quick and easy process, and we're thankful that we still have money in reserve so we can help some of these more long-term visionary ideas that are coming to us now. So we're fortunate to say we're here for the long haul. Next, I'd like to hand it over to Charles Brooks, one of those partners I talked about from the Rebuild Paradise Foundation.
Good evening. Paradise, I am so happy. I'm so happy to hear the number of rebuilds. I'm happy to drive the streets every day and see more walls being framed, more roofs going on, just more activity. Businesses are opening. I can get my favorite candy from Joyland's again. It's just amazing. You know, it's the little things that motivated my family and I to sit down after we lost our home in the campfire, and we're sitting at our new-to-us kitchen table and going, what are we going to do? We want to see kids playing soccer on a Saturday morning. We want to go to Dalio Donuts and have that goal-winning donut to celebrate. And so we said, what does that look like? And so out of those conversations and partnerships with a lot of great people came the Rebuild Paradise Foundation. So this is our staff, all of us. 2 part-time, and then you get me all the time. Next slide, please. I'm here basically to tell you about the grants, programs, and the resources that we have to offer to people looking to rebuild in the campfire footprint. Our name is Rebuild Paradise Foundation, but most of the resources we offer are campfire footprint-wide. Magalia, Concow, Yankee Hill, Butte Creek Canyon. Most of our resources apply to them as well. The first major grant that we have, and we've been running since last February, is what we call the Missing Middle Grant. This is an opportunity for people who have applied for a building permit or pulled a building permit, if they meet income criteria, to have some of their pre-construction costs covered. One of the things that we knew going into this is that there are so many gaps in getting back to rebuilding a home. There's so many steps, and if we can identify a few of those and give people a little bit of a hand up with partners who are willing to donate funds and our collective know-how, then maybe that's going to help you decide to go from, I don't know if I want to rebuild, but I love Paradise, or I love Magalia, to go, I'm going to come back because someone stepped up to give me a little bit of help and knows that I need help. So if you need access to water, if you need some help with architecture and engineering fees, if you need help with your survey, because all of us in Paradise, ta-da, we all have to pay money for a survey for our property. So that's one of those hurdles. So within our program, if you apply for a building permit or you pulled a building permit and you meet the income criteria, we have reimbursement for those fees if you spent that money. So we work really hard to hold your hand through the process. So this isn't you have to understand the whole application and get it right away. Send it in to us. We're going to help you walk through this, because one of the things working with our funders on this is that we realize that case management is part of the deal. We need to, we're fire survivors. We understand there's a lot of hurdles, and let us just help you get through this. So if you go to our website, rebuildparadise.org, look under resources, you'll see our grants programs. I just want to cover 2 things on this. Just number 1, thank you to our sponsors, Tri-Counties Bank, American Red Cross, and Paradise Rotary Foundation. You guys gave generously, and you're allowing us to give money to the community to help people rebuild. As of tonight, we've given out $170,000 to 49 grant applicants. That number of 8 that we put in the slides last week has gone up to 14 applicants as of today that are pending, and now we're looking at over $50,000 for this grant period for people just in this one program. 30 site-built homes, 15 manufactured homes, and they're all over the campfire footprint. So we're very proud of this, and again, thank you to our sponsors for this. If you need more information, it's on our website. We're happy to answer any questions. Next slide, please. So this is the big one that David just mentioned, and we are incredibly grateful to the partners that realized that us pushing for this need for our community, that they were willing to step up to the plate. This is our septic infrastructure grant. Same idea, people that are committing to the rebuild process and have decided to take that next step forward, we're here to support you with one of the major hurdles that's popped up. In the town of Paradise alone, the estimates are 40 to 60% of the septic systems are having major component failures, whether that's your tank or whether it's your field. Leach field, that is. So there's up to $7,500 available for septic expenses that are incurred during your rebuilding process. We have 2 pathways here. If you're low income, you can qualify for up to that $7,500 reimbursement. If you're what we call the middle income category, it's $3,500 for septic related expenses that you incur during construction. This program went live, or it has a start date of August 1st. Now here's the caveat. Your permit could be before August 1st as long as construction hasn't started as of August 1st. You say, well, it's November, how can we prove that? Well, you guys have this little cool thing, the job card, that shows when you broke ground. So as soon as your foundation forms went in, that's what we're looking at. That's when we consider major construction has happened. This can be for your primary residence or one single family home rental. We understand that a lot of people that were in the they may have had 1 rental or 2 rentals that were part of their income for their family. Maybe they were retired and they owned 1 rental on their property. They want to rebuild that to allow family to live there or somebody else. We need housing here, rental and owner occupied. So if you have a single-family home that's a rental property and you meet the income criteria, we can do that. When we put the slides together, we had 5 applicants. As of today, we have 11. This program is taking off. It's just getting going, and we're here to help you through that process. There's a few more things we've got to gather on this, but we're here to help you. And huge thank you to American Red Cross again for stepping up, and the Butte Strong and North Valley Community Foundation for recognizing this need in our community. Again, rebuildparadise.org, look under resources and grants. Next slide. This is another huge win for our community. We've been working for a very long time to put together what's called the Residential Floor Plan Library. You'd think it's easy, just go out, get some building plans, put them online, away you go. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of rules and regulations, as many of you know who are rebuilding, that go into building a house. So what we've done is we've worked with design professional partners that donated floor plans that we are funding to go through the master planning process in the town of Paradise in Butte County. So if you never wanted to build a home in your life and you need a design, by the end of the year, we should have 9 or 10 unique floor plans that you can have access to, and some of them have flips, garage on the right-hand side or garage on the left. The beauty of master plans. The average turn time in plan reviews, so when you put in your construction documents for permits, you're getting plans back in 2 to 3 weeks, and you're getting your permit in hand. It's a big time savings. You pay 50% of your initial fees with the town of Paradise. At the end, they have grant money sponsored by North Valley Community Foundation of up to $3,500 of your issuance fees, and in many cases for the smaller square footage plans, that's going to cover all of your issuance fees. You don't have to pay for an architect. You have to pay very little in plan review. It's going to go quickly, and you get to move in faster. You still get to pick your paint colors. You get to pick your cabinets, everything else. It's just the floor plan of the home has to be what it is in master planning. A lot of these designs were resident-driven through different forums that we ask people to provide input into these designs, and some are just creative designs. Next slide, please. Residents, you guys continue to be our focus in 2021. We have a bunch of programs available that help with the different phases of rebuilding. We're not going to cover everything. We're going to send you to the rebuild advocates a lot of the time, but a couple things that we're doing: insurance availability. If you're having trouble finding insurance, we've got lists of insurers who are insuring on the ridge. We're participating in a program with other fire safe councils and foundations like ours and fire scientists all over the state to get insurance companies to recognize the mitigation efforts that we're all taking. So making your property safer, everything else. So we're working hard for you behind the scenes to make sure that insurance can still exist on the ridge. We have this really cool mapping tool. People who are looking to rebuild, you may need to get a survey. Check out our map. You may see that your neighbor's been surveyed. Click on that parcel where you can see they've been surveyed, because if you contact that survey company, chances are you might be able to get your survey done significantly cheaper than if you went out and found a unique company to do it. We have our grants program. We're doing services with drones to be able to provide architects and engineers with updated imagery to make your rebuild costs less in the design phase. The thing that I'm so excited about that's coming to you soon, many of you had attended the Home Builders Resource Connection or Home Builders Resource Expo event. We're bringing that to you in a virtual format. We're going to have a soft launch of that December 1st. And it's a site that you can go to that's going to be hosted by ourselves, Paradise Ridge Chamber of Commerce, makeitparadise.org, and Valley Contractors Exchange, where you can go and see service providers that will help you throughout your rebuild process. Contractors, surveyors, architects, engineers, septic providers, and you can do research on those companies. You can see a 2-minute video commercial of the services that they offer, just as a helping hand to give you a few resources. The other thing that we do, check out our YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and Instagram. We're trying to tell the story of this awesome community we all live in. We're showing pictures of rebuilds that are happening. We're doing video interviews of people who've chosen to rebuild, have rebuilt their homes, what they love about the community, and then we have all these other fun, interesting videos that are showcasing different parts of our awesome community that we all love. So check that stuff out. That's what we do. Any questions, rebuildparadise.org or info@rebuildparadise.org. And thank you so much for listening.
Good evening, everyone. Monica Nolan, Paradise Ridge Chamber of Commerce Executive Director. I want to start by removing my mask. but it's stuck on my earring. Hold on 1 second. Okay. A profound and sincere thank you to all of you, to all of us who've been sticking around these 2 years and rebuilding our community together. I want to thank the town of Paradise and its new leadership for their commitment and energy. I want to thank Pastor Bolin and the Paradise Alliance Church for being fantastic hosts to us these past 2 years. And I want to thank our businesses, some of whom stayed behind and fought the fire, saved their businesses, and are still here. And of course, Adventist Health being the first to open and providing health care for us all this time. Our new Paradise and Magalia are being built on the solid foundation of tradition and innovation that have defined Paradise and the Upper Ridge since its earliest days. The Paradise Ridge Chamber of Commerce is a flexible organization, continually adapting to community needs. Throughout its 86-year history, your chamber has done everything from leading a tuberculosis x-ray drive to hosting county health and DMV services within its chamber. I say this by way of telling you that we'll do whatever it takes to get it done together. The chamber has a unique ability to address the most immediate needs of our community, as varied as they are, and still assist non-member businesses, address queries. I tell you, we get a new one every day, and we're poised to bring events back and activities when deemed safe. Next slide, please. As a chamber, part of our role has been to take command of our story and tell the narrative as we see fit and not have it told about us. We accomplish this through branding, digital media, publications. Our chamber produces periodicals of resources, news, community goods, services, business listings, and events supporting the rise of the Ridge. All content is produced in Paradise by Paradise Ridge residents to promote the Paradise Ridge. As the voice of the Ridge, we are the top community news sharer and communicator, curating and disseminating information to our businesses and the community at large. Our publications and online business directory provide the most complete business listings available to the Ridge. We are working on digital collateral and new image campaigns to promote the Ridge and attract visitors, new residents, and commerce, and to urge residents to put your money where your home is. Look for a new tourism map coming soon to promote our outstanding natural assets, and an exciting new venture launching in the new year as we really walk the walk of shop local. Next slide, please. This is one of my favorite pictures that is a little bit staged. He's pointing at his ruler. It's kind of funny. Our board of directors is composed of many different community-wide representatives: workforce development, education, healthcare, physical fitness, insurance, cultural arts, publications, and self-employment. This informs our well-rounded look on economic development and community needs during this protracted and profound transitional phase. At the chamber office, we offer private office space, Wi-Fi, and meeting rooms to local workforce and contractors and displaced workers and community partners anyone who says they're going to help out the Ridge, they're welcome to use that space. The chamber partners with Butte College Small Business Development Center to support businesses by providing one-on-one counseling at sessions in the chamber office. SBDC can help with modified business and marketing plans, and boy, we're modifying a lot right now. The chamber embraces a coalition approach to working with government and other entities for betterment of the whole community. As we embark on economic development initiatives with community partners, we'll be the voice at the table that advocates for our small businesses. Our advocacy is specifically aimed at reducing regulatory constraints for businesses, supporting local infrastructure such as broadband and sewer. In closing, I want to say we really miss you. We miss being together. We miss our events and seeing all of you in person. What's that? I know. We really miss that. The pandemic has kneecapped us while we're running the Rebuild Marathon. But here on the Ridge, when we get knocked down, we get up again. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Dan Efsef. I'm the district manager for the Paradise Recreation and Park District. Very happy to be here tonight. 2020 has been an interesting year, but I've kind of challenged myself to look at what are the things I'm thankful for this month of Thanksgiving here and gratitude. And one thing that comes to mind listening to everybody tonight, and I think David mentioned it as well, is all of these partners that you're seeing on up here tonight, they all work together. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff to make things happen, that we're not operating in a vacuum. And so that's one of the things I'm thankful for. Another item is my staff. I have extraordinary, dedicated staff that loves the community and wants to give a lot. We have a lot of stuff going on, and I have a video that I hope works. And if not, I will fill in some gaps, but we'll see how the video goes. Hi, I'm Dan Efsef. I'm the district manager for the Paradise Recreation and Park District. Our district has been a part of the fabric of the community for the last 70 years, building collaboration and partnerships. I have the privilege of working with a team of superheroes, and you need to know them. So we're going to do something that's very different than your typical update tonight. We're going to go through their programs, share a little bit about what they're doing. If any of that speaks to you, you need to contact us. So let's get going.
As park supervisor, following the campfire that happened following Wednesday, me and Dan Esseff came up to Paradise to get a boots on the ground evaluation of what we had to deal with. And immediately we knew it was going to take full dedication and commitment of our staff that we'd already lost 3/4 of. Fortunately, they shined through. We've been able to immediately following the fire. We were able to get Billy Park up and cleaned up, the rec center here, and aquatic park. So at least people had nowhere to go. There wasn't devastation surrounding them. So at least they had a place to go to take the children, play on the playgrounds, have green grass, cleaned up. For that moment while were there, they could forget about what was going on all around them. For a brief moment while you were at our parks, it gave you somewhere to have solace, and just to be away from all the devastation. And we're proud of that. I'm very proud of our staff, the dedication and commitment by everyone at Paradise. I think you can go to any of our parks and it shines through.
So on the recreation side of things, we've got some really fun activities to talk about. We're very excited that we took over the recreation operations out at Paradise Lake. We've already had a couple of really fun events out there. We've had our virtual fishing derby that was COVID safe. And we're also having, and we already did have, astronomy on the lake, in which paddlers came out, had a tour of Paradise Lake, and then a star tour by Chico State professor. We're also looking at having our traditional children's fishing derby up at Paradise Lake next spring, along with the Gold Nugget Craft Fair at the Terry Ash Recreation Center. What we're most excited to talk about today is our drive-in movie theater. We will be bringing a drive-in movie theater to Paradise this late November through December. You can also look for the traditional programs that you know and love, our aquatics programming, youth and adult sports, preschool programming, exercise and fitness classes, and special interest classes. So if any of those interest you, we'd love to see you come on out and also come out and visit our parks. Thanks.
As part of the Outdoor Education for All and Healing Trauma Through Nature initiative, sponsored through North Valley Community Foundation, we've learned that we really need to take trauma seriously and make sure our programs are trauma informed. So we've been a part of the Community Resiliency Model training, as well as the Adverse Childhood Experiences training. How can we host a program called Healing Trauma Through Nature without doing that type of program? So we're excited to come out of the gates in 2021 with an augmented reality app that is kind of like a virtual field trip or a virtual park ranger that takes you through some of our parks up here on the Ridge, as well as we're excited to report that we're in the development for a couple of ropes courses, as well as other community-driven initiatives such as summer camps and a couple of partnerships with Rotary. So stay tuned for the good news.
As head of the volunteer volunteer program. The program is specifically focusing on high-quality facilities, program, and services, all within the natural areas that we manage here at PRPD. And all of this is to connect individuals in the community with their specific interests as well as district priorities and goals. And because of this, it will cultivate a culture for caring for our green spaces and allowing individuals to have ownership for their local parks. And in doing so, you can be able to volunteer as a park steward, as a long-term opportunity, if you're an individual or in a group, as well as we have trail maintenance, gardening, invasive plant removal. And also for students, they can be able to get resume builders, skills in conservation, as well as even communication skills.
How do we get in touch with you?
You can go to get in touch on our website, within our office as well, calling that, and also there's an email provided as well, or even in person. If curiosity is sparked, just stop and ask the program when you see us out there.
Hey everyone, parks make life better, and we want to hear from you about how to make better parks. So, we are seeking grant funding, and if awarded, we will be building 2 new parks, one in Magalia and one in the east side of Paradise. So we want to hear from you what should be in these parks. We heard from 6th, 7th, and 8th graders, maybe a giant hamster wheel. That sounds fun. Ninja warrior course, anyone? I would totally do that. What about a zip line? Wait, zip line into a ball pit. These are some of the most amazing ideas we've heard and love them, and we want to hear more because who would have ever thought Ninja Warrior course? I didn't think of that. You did, the kids. And so if you want to be part of the future of the bridge and rebuilding things to be better than ever, then come to this link right here and tell us what you want so that we can make it happen.
Well, that felt good, huh?
We're going to shift gears a little bit, talk about lessons from the campfire and how it's affected our park planning and vision for the future. Defensible space. We know it's very important to protect our homes and have a buffer around our buildings and loved ones. We're looking at concept of applying parks, open space, as protection for the community with a defensible space buffer. Defensible space around a community is a little bit more challenging. Here's Paradise Lake, here's Magalia, here's Paradise. We have a landscape that has steep slopes and heavy vegetation, difficult to get in, difficult to do management. What we're exploring with our partners right now is an opportunity to look at these areas as maybe alternative uses. And that could include making them parks, making them other land uses, trail system. And so there's areas and opportunities that allows us to connect roads, build trails, and have some recreational resources that will be amazing. I hope you enjoy this whirlwind trip. I hope something spoke to you. So maybe you want to take a class. Maybe you want to teach a class for us. Maybe you want to sponsor an event or program. Maybe you want to work with us to develop a new event or program. Help us volunteer in parks. Help us build a new park or facility. Maybe you have a property that fits our model of a buffer that protects the community. Contact us. We want feedback, ideas, and innovation to create a safe and prosperous paradise. Come join us.
I'm not sure how I follow that. That was pretty great. That was pretty exciting. Hi, I am Mickey. I am the current Assistant District Manager for the Paradise Irrigation District. We are the water company for Paradise residents. Tonight, I just want to briefly talk about water quality, the current state of the district, and what's next for Paradise water users. For most of you who were here 2 years ago and suffered through the campfire, you'll remember that shortly after the campfire, the district issued a water quality advisory due to damage in the pipelines. That water quality advisory as of May of 2020 has been lifted for every standing home, for every surviving home, and for every new construction. There's still a water quality advisory in place for those who are living in temporary housing or on vacant lands. The next step in our recovery process in regard to water quality is water assurance monitoring. So starting next week, you'll see a new map on our website. That map will show the testing that we are going to be doing routinely. So people will be able to go and they will be able to see that the water in town is still good and it's still healthful, and it's something that we're pretty excited about. As far as the district state, we're doing well. Like a lot of other agencies, we had some staff turnover. One example is our district manager is now the town manager. In the interim, we have Tom Lando, who is a very experienced public manager. He is the interim district manager for the district. We have management staff, and we have a very, very talented employee set. We have hired more people. We have a full crew. Finally, and we have a full office of friendly, helpful customer service staff. I know that for a while there were some delays and it was hard to get a hold of people, but with the increased staff and training, especially in the last couple of months, we've seen a really big turnaround. So we encourage you to call us, come on by if you need anything or have any questions. We're open Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. If you have a request for water and you are looking to hook up water, it's generally as easy as a phone call and setting up service. You'll need to install an interim backflow device, and previously there was a delay in that. In some cases there can still be a delay, but we have seen a significant reduction in the amount of time that it takes to get water service. So 2 or 3 months ago, it may have been an average of about 70 days to get that water device installed and get you back into water. We've cut that down to the average that we're seeing lately is about 17 days. So just a little over 2 weeks in some cases, and we've made a commitment to reach out and communicate with you. So within a month, if you don't have water, you'll at least know what the plan is for getting you water. So what's next for Paradise water users? I saved this last, not because it's best, but because it's the most unpopular topic, but we will be installing water meters. So we'll all get to pay for the water we use again. If you have looked at your bill lately, you probably realize that's for 2 years now, you've only been paying the service charge associated with that monthly bill. You pay it every couple of months. So our next step in recovery is to install meters and get back to normal billing. That project will most likely start in spring and finish before winter. Nobody likes to pay more for water, but it's really kind of an important milestone, because before we could get meters and before we went to billing for water, there were some other things that we had to get done first. Fixing the water system, making sure the water was clean to drink. So the fact that we're able to be at this point is it's a huge deal for not just Paradise Irrigation District, but for Paradise in general. So it's something I'm pretty excited about getting back to that. So that's all I have as far as an update. I'll give it to the schools. Thank you, guys.
Good evening. Tom Taylor, Superintendent of Paradise Unified School District, and David McCready, our Chief Financial Officer. And we'll be sharing some things about the school district and what's happening. Before I get into that, I just want to say it's great to be able to stand up here and be part of this and think about all the service that's going on and be one of those people in an organization that is serving the community like the rest of the people. So fantastic work, everybody. So if you've seen my presentations, you see all of them are titled Moving Ahead, because that's what we're going to continue to do in Paradise Unified School District. So next slide, please. The exciting news, the biggest news that we have and that everybody has heard is that we have been reopening schools. And as everybody knows, back in March last year, schools were closed for distance learning. And I want to thank everybody and give a shout out to every educator in our community for the work they've done in preparing schools, getting them safe for our students, and being really creative in how we can educate our students. That also goes for the parents who were doing the distance learning, because we know that wasn't an easy thing, and we thank you for your work in that. So lots of great stuff going on. So when we talk about reopening schools, one of the priorities, of course, was the safety, also the social emotional well-being of our students, all focused in high levels of learning. Next slide. When we talk about education and everything that we've dealt with in our community, we know that there's some major things that we have to deal with the social emotional wellness of not only our students, but our staff and the whole community. And up here is just a list. I'm not going to read every one of them. You can go on to the next slide. But these two slides demonstrate some of the training, some of the work that has been done within the district to provide for the social emotional wellness of students and staff. We also have some things listed on our website for parents, so please go to our website and take a look at those strategies and programs that are out there for our parents so they can help support their students. I didn't list it up here today, but I have to also recognize our food services program, who are providing food on every Thursday. They are providing 5 days worth of breakfast, lunch, and dinner for anybody who is under 18, as well as, of course, providing a sack or walk-away breakfast or lunch for all the students at the sites. So lots of stuff going on within education. Next slide. Within Paradise Unified and throughout, even within all the charters, we have been providing opportunities for all families in case face-to-face isn't working. But what we're doing is you will usually see face-to-face instruction right now under some type of modified schedule. We call it our hybrid model. We have independent study, which is more of a packet work for our students who may not be comfortable in face-to-face and may not have access to the internet. And we have our online learning through e-learning, through our e-learning program for those students who want to do distance learning still, not quite ready to come back to face-to-face, but they have internet access. So, go ahead. Next slide, please. Real quickly, I want to put our schedules up here. This is the most exciting news I can share, and this is students at our campuses, and this is fantastic. But these are pictures of Cedarwood, Pine Ridge, and Paradise Ridge, our elementary schools. Basically, the schedule we're doing at our TK through 6, we're doing an AM/PM model in which half the students will come in the morning from about 8 to 10:15, 10:30, and then there will be a break, and the other half will come 12:30 to about 2:45, 2:30 in the afternoon. So, next slide. Our Ridgeview High School, they're starting at about 8:40 every day. They're going every day. And we are doing them in an A group and a B group. So Monday, Wednesday, Group A will go. Tuesday, Thursday, Group B will go. And on Friday, they switch it up. But their day is about from 8:40 to 12:40. And then we have Paradise Junior Senior High School and our e-learning. They're following a very similar schedule to the high school, to Ridgeview. They have students coming on A group on Monday, Wednesday, doing 6 periods from about 8:40 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And on Fridays, they are a little bit different. They're doing distance learning for both groups A and B on Friday. But our priority here was getting kids. We know that the school system, and especially high school, it's so much more than just the academics piece. Kids need to be with their peers. So that's a big part of it, is providing that social interaction and all the stuff that we remember about high school, coming lunchtime, whatever it might be, the student government, the leadership activities that they do. So that was a real critical piece for us in moving ahead with our students. The other exciting piece, I should say one of the other, is all the construction that's going on. You may have seen some of this presentation in the past, but we are looking at a couple phases within our construction of our school district. The first phase, it's going to take about, we're going to say 3 to 4 years of construction. we're looking at about a $90 million worth of upgrades and new buildings. Up here we have a list of them. We know that our priority right now is getting those schools rebuilt that we lost or back up and running. So, of course, Ridgeview High School getting a whole new school. But if you look at some of these, they go from painting at the Cedarwood Elementary School, Pine Ridge Elementary School, new playgrounds. I don't think we had it listed up here, but a key for us, like everybody else, is dealing with the PSPS days. And that is providing generators for our schools so we can still continue to have schools if power is shut off. So the construction, there's a huge amount of things that are happening throughout our district. The long-term plan, and when I say long-term, we're looking 7 to 10 years down the road, is to eventually remove all the portables within our district. And our district, by that I mean from the very south end of Paradise to Sterling City. So our newest schools, which are Pine Ridge and Pine Ridge and Cedarwood, will be getting also redone in the future. So starting with the schools that were damaged and then moving on. So lots of exciting stuff there that's going to happen. I graduated from Paradise High School, and I know many of you out here did. And our kids are going to see things that we can't even imagine that we've never seen in the past. So very exciting. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. McCready real quick because he's got some really great pictures he wants to show you.
I'm David McCready. I'm the Assistant Superintendent. Can you go back just 2 slides? Just want to go through these real quick. So you can see the new gym that's going up, and that's where the lower tennis courts are. That's a pretty impressive gym. It is 60% bigger than the old gym. The old gym was 7,500 square feet. The new gym is a monster. It is 12,000 square feet. It will seat 1,175 people in that gym. 19 classroom administration building will go to PHS. Science classrooms are being modernized. The old gym is being modernized. Cafeteria student unions being redone. Softball fields, there's about $2.7 million that are going into the girls' softball field. Tennis courts, you can see the work going on. Brand new Musco lighting going at the softball fields. The tennis courts, I encourage you to drive by it. It's very exciting. Next slide. Transportation, there's a temporary location, and then where the old Honey Run site was on Pearson Road, there's going to be a brand new transportation, food service, and new and maintenance building. It'll be up front, so it'll be more friendly for the parents to come up. And like Tom mentioned, generators for the PSPS days. Next slide. Next slide. This just shows painting that was going on at Cedarwood. They repainted the entire exterior of the school. Next slide. These are the new playground facilities that are structures that are going in at Cedarwood. They are pretty impressive. It would be cool to be a kid and play on those. Next slide. Pine Ridge repainted the entire exterior. Next slide. Again, new play structures going in at Pine Ridge. Next slide. The gymnasium we just talked about. Next slide. That's where it is right now. You can see each one of these trusses were installed about a month ago. Each one of those weighs about 18,000 pounds, and the roof structure's been installed now, so it's pretty exciting. You can see it's just about framed in. Next slide. This is a view, so if you're at the lower tennis courts where the new gym is, if you're looking back what was the old field, this is where you're going to have a lot of parking for the gym. It'll also create parking for football games on Friday night so people can walk down there. There's going to be 2 lower tennis courts where Jake is back there. Next slide. The softball field, you can see a ton of work has been done to it already, but all the infrastructure is going to be going in the next probably 3 or 4 months. Next slide. Before I say this, I do want to point out something. Where the tennis courts are going, from the tennis courts to the lower area, there's going to be about a 240-foot handicap ramp that's going to go there. And then to go from where the new gym is down to the softball field, there'll be another 240-foot handicap ramp, and there will be bathrooms down there. So anybody could start on Maxwell. Grandma and grandpa can start on Maxwell, go all the way down and watch their grandchild on the softball field and use the restroom. So it's pretty exciting. This is what's the old Ponderosa site, which is where Prez will go. It's the new, what we call the new Kappa Gymatorium. It was the multi-purpose room. If you can go to the next slide. So the front, when you came in off Pence, this is what the new building will look like. Next slide. That's from the side. Next slide. And you can see there's an outdoor stage which faces to the outside and then also to the inside. So that'll be really neat for families to gather out there. Next slide. Ridgeview High School, brand new facility. The original one was built in 1938. This will be across the street from the high school so the kids can have access to ROP programs if they'd like. You can see there's a central area. That's what it looks like. Next slide. And this is the back side. That's Maxwell on your right. Next slide. There's going to be, the old gym's going to have some remodeling done to it. That'll help. Next slide. And then all of the science classrooms and biology rooms are going to be completely modernized. So they'll be brand new state of the art. Next slide. Cafeteria, like we mentioned earlier, the old cafeteria is going to be more like a student union now. There's going to be, so you can see from the inside there, they're going to completely gut the inside, make it look like a modern student union. Very user-friendly for the kids. Next slide. Okay. This is when you're looking at the front of the high school where the admin building is and where the quad is. We're going to be removing the admin building on the left side and then putting in a brand new 2-story 19 classroom and admin building. It will be an incredible thing for the students. Next slide. This is from the top. This will be the first floor view. You can see admins in the lower right. Maxwell would be on the right side. That's the first floor, that's the second floor. Next slide. That's what it'll look like from Maxwell. That's what Paradise High will look like now. So when you're looking at the quad from the bus area, that'll be the new view. Backside, this will be from the backside. So that student union, you'd walk down the stairs into the quad area. And you can see in the middle spot, you go to the next slide, that's what it would look like from the middle. So Maxwell would be on the right. Coming into there, it'll be 2-story. And yes, we'll have an elevator. So it's exciting. Next slide. This is a view from Maxwell down by where the lower tennis courts are. We're going to be up modernizing a lot of the buildings so they'll match the brand new 19 classroom building that'll be in the front there. Next slide. And this will be the new maintenance, transportation, nutrition building. It's off Pearson where Honey Run was. So that way it's easy for parents to come in if they need to meet with transportation and nutrition. And then the big delivery vehicles can go to the back and they won't have any interference there. Next slide. And this is the backside where the buses will be, and I think that is it. Next slide. That's all. Sorry I talked so fast, but I wanted to respect your time. So.
There was a lot to cover there. Thank you, David. We just want to say that the facilities that we talk about, they are the facilities of the community. And one of the things that we're doing is we are providing tours. And if you are interested in taking a look at the construction, and like I say, this is the beginning. We're going to be doing this for probably the next many years. Give us a call at the district office. We'd be more than happy to take tours around to show you what's happening within your community and what your kids, grandkids will have access to over the next many years. So have a good evening. Thank you.
Testing. Okay, so now it is working. Okay, so we are going to have a couple questions. Actually, Mr. Town Manager, if you would please come up here. I always feel like I'm on a game show when I do this. Okay, first question is about tree priorities for standing homes that they're not currently clarified. Would you be able to shed some light on that?
Sure. So the standing homes with trees that are enrolled in the state program will have priority over ones that don't have an opportunity to fall on a structure or anything like that. The one thing you have to realize, though, is if you're enrolled, then you will be prioritized. But if your neighbor is not, you need to encourage them to be enrolled. So there's still going to be an opening for your neighbor to be enrolled. There's still about 2,000 properties, I believe, that are unenrolled in either program, private or the state. So if you have a neighbor that does not that has trees on their property, we are trying our best to reach out, but a lot of times if you know their contact, please reach out to them and encourage them to get in the program, because then their property will be prioritized because there is an opportunity for those trees to fall on a standing structure.
Thank you. I recognize that hopefully you can answer the question pertaining to grants. Okay. We'll see what you can do. So a couple questions related to how long does it take to process or obtain the various grants that were mentioned earlier?
Yeah, and that's kind of an open question because some actually come pretty quick and others take quite a bit of time. So for the hazard or the CDBGR DR funds for the grants for the replacement of the residential structures, those should come out pretty quickly because they're in a program that's going to be run by the state, that those funds should come down, and then they are expecting to get those funds and spent in 7 years. That's $220 million they're expecting to spend in 7 years. They better get those funds out pretty quickly. Other ones with the hazard mitigation grants, those take a little bit of time, and that's for like the early warning system that we're part of. There's another one that we're trying to get the trees that don't qualify for one of the programs to get availability of funds for those. Those kind of vary based on how quickly FEMA can get through those. There's some environmental issues sometimes on those that take a little bit more time. So those funds do take a little bit more time. So it's kind of a hit and miss based on which program that you're trying to get these grant funds out of.
The last part of that is, will manufactured homes be eligible as part of those grants?
Say that again.
Will manufactured homes be eligible within those grants?
Yes, the answer is yes. So you can actually, if you had a stick-built home and you lost your stick-built home and you want to put a manufactured home on there, that you can do. If you had a manufactured home and you lost your manufactured home, you can't go to a stick-built, you have to go back to a manufactured home. So manufactured homes are available through the grant program.
Thank you. And Mickey, just one quick question for you, please. We had a question about the water table and when will it be restored?
The water table?
That's, yes.
So Paradise Irrigation District actually gets its water from Paradise Lake, which is surface water. So we don't do a lot of monitoring of the water table. That is more of a question that maybe someone at the county could answer, or one of the water agencies that serves their customers with well water, such as Del Oro or Chico.
Great, okay, thank you. All right, that's it for questions. So thank you all very much. Oh, I guess we have one more. I'm so sorry. Would you mind? And I'm not sure who is chief here. Yes, he is still here. So are there plans to rebuild the fire station on Wagstaff?
So right now there is no plans to rebuild that station on Wagstaff. We're looking at relocating Station 82 to a better location for better coverage. And with CAL FIRE and their station up off Forest Service, we have pretty good coverage up there. We're looking to expand even that coverage with maybe some interconnection of some roadways to allow them to get out to Skyway quicker, and then having the stations at kind of the lower end of town where it's a little wider. We feel like we have really good coverage at that point in time. So that's kind of where we're going with it.
And it looks like we might have one more. Okay, I think you're back up. You're getting your exercise tonight. So what is currently being done what is being done in the current road conditions, for example, on Skyway between Billy and Wagstaff?
So I'm assuming this is a widening question about Skyway. Oh, okay, got it. So right now we're going to do some restoration of anything that's like hazardous, or if there's big potholes, we'll come out and patch them. Our plan though is not to do any major restoration until PG&E is done with their undergrounding in that area. And so once PG&E is done, we're going to come in and do a full resurfacing of all those roads. So just like what David was talking about with the grant from the Butte Strong Foundation, we were able to prove that basically every road in Paradise was damaged. We got funding from FEMA or FHA, the Federal Highway Administration, to replace and repair all the roads. Right, yes. So what we want to do is we don't want to go out and repair it and put it all back to brand new and then have PG&E cut through it. So we're trying to do it in the most efficient manner. So if there is big, major potholes, I know Neil has quite a few too. We're going to try to go out there and kind of repair it back to where it's at least drivable, but not the full resurfacing, probably until 2024 is when we'll start that.
Well, and we have one more come in from Facebook. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to answer this or not because Vector Control's not here, but for the old abandoned pools for mosquitoes, is there still currently a plan? So
yeah, I would say reach out to the Butte
Vector.
County Vector Control. I know that they have some programs for that.
And the good news is winter's coming. Call and make an appointment. Okay, great. All right, well, thank you all again for attending. We'd like to invite you to stay up to date on the latest rebuilding information by subscribing to emails at makeitparadise.org, and of course visit there for checklists, rebuilding guides, and all sorts of information. So thanks again for attending. See you next time.